County Sheriff's Office Community Engagement, Stephen Gaynor. Stephen served 28 years with the Cobb County Police Department, working in the robbery, homicide, special victims, criminal investigations, and training units. Also with us tonight, retired Deputy Inspector of the New York Police Department, Corey Pegues. Corey's a 26-year veteran of the NYPD. He spent 14 years as a combat medic with the U.S. Army and New York National Guard. He's also the author of the book, Once a Cop. Corey, Stephen, great to have you both back here tonight. Let's begin with a wild video out of Indian River from the Sheriff's Office down there. A man throws an infant at deputies after fleeing.
Just stand down, let the heart, see if we can get this guy from her. He's got an infant in his hands. He has an infant with him.
106, can we get a patrol car over here to assist with scanning the baby, the infant, into an AC?
Good enough to stand up, huh? No, bro. Well, get on the journey and let them treat you. You want their help or not?
No, bro. I can't do it.
Yes, you can.
Bro, I'm losing wind, bro. I'm losing wind. You hear me?
You're fine. Just sit up there.
I can't, bro.
They will put the thing on you and
Bro,
tell you how you're
listen,
doing.
I'm getting lightheaded.
Okay, well, you won't fall if you're sitting on the bed. Yeah, if you get lightheaded, they can put an IV on you. You guys lift him up, I guess, like... Yo, get your legs on there.
Bro,
Stop telling me I can't... Oh, bro, obviously you're breathing enough to kick me.
I didn't kick you, bro.
You just hit me in the leg.
Unbelievable. Through the infant, and apparently the deputy caught him. What changes when you realize a child is involved in a situation like this? In the middle of the whole thing, they're getting a call. Listen, he's got an infant. Stephen Gaynor.
Well, Vinny, it didn't change during the whole chase because I honestly think they never had an idea that infant was there until he got out of that car. So it changed in an instant, but once the deputy caught it, it was time to go back to doing business, and they went right on with the business, taking him into custody once the other deputy had secured it. But it is a kind of a scary situation to have somebody have an infant that young and to just kind of, now I can't clearly see him toss it, but to throw it towards the deputy and that he catch it. So scary situation.
Unbelievable, Corey. What changes in the equation once you realize that the person you're chasing has an infant?
Well, again, like Steve says, once you know that there's a child, most police officers, men and women, they have children, so you have an emotional connection to it immediately. You know, I had the unfortunate incident to be a cop in the 114 precinct in the early 90s where a husband chopped his wife's head off and 3 of his kids' heads off. And, you know, the cops had to go into this horrific scene knowing and hearing the screaming from the 911 call from the 9-year-old saying that her daddy's cutting his mother's head off. And so they had to use a tremendous amount of restraint to not actually fire upon this guy, and was able to bring him into custody. So, you know, cops deal with a lot of stuff, but when kids are involved, it's very emotional. You got to use a tremendous amount of restraint and hope that the safety of that child is paramount to that situation.
Next story tonight comes to us from WMAR down in Baltimore. A man accused of hate crimes after a violent rampage.
The following video includes graphic content. Viewer discretion is advised.
What amounted to a half hour of terror targeting Asian American business owners started on the night of May 2nd here at Linden Discount Liquors on West North Avenue. According to the indictment, when he entered the store on May 2nd, a security guard confronted him for not wearing a mask and kicked him out. That man, identified as 50-year-old Daryl Doles, returned to the store with a baseball bat-sized board and struck the guard before moving on to Pennsylvania Avenue, where he knocked over a display here at the 4040 liquor store before moving on down the street, where he attacked two women with a piece of a concrete block at the Wonderland liquor store.
What we all saw in that video was not only shocking to the conscience, but was compelling enough to seek the maximum penalties in this violent act.
Penalties including 9 counts of hate crime after Doles allegedly made the motive for his attacks clear, including a conversation he had with a man named Sean shortly after his arrest that night.
Mr. Doles, they need to go back to their country. Sean, that's what this was all about? Mr. Doles, she shouldn't have came out. They your country up, but you still love them. Out of here. I won't eat out of their stores.
The city state's attorney says the indictment sends a message to those who commit racially motivated crimes of violence.
What we've all bore witness to over the past year is resentment over coronavirus restrictions, which have unleashed a tidal wave of unjustified, vicious assaults against Asian Americans across this nation. This misplaced anger and hatred toward our Asian American community members is disturbing, unacceptable, and will not be tolerated in the city of Baltimore.
All right, what goes into a hate crime investigation? Corey Pegues, I'll begin with you.
Hey, Vinny, thanks. Listen, getting a hate crime, trying to connect the dots to a hate crime is pretty simple. It's, race, creed, sexual orientation, religion. If you could lock in any of those, and it will be a hate crime. Obviously, with this case here, he was pissed off at the store owner not letting him go in the Asian establishment, so he went on a hate-filled rampage to different locations with Asian owners and started assaulting those two women. He also had that conversation where he talked about them going back to their country. He went and visit their locations and eat in their locations. He definitely had hate in his heart, and he carried it out. And let's hope that the district attorney puts on a good case so that this gentleman could serve the time for the vicious hate crime that he committed.
Stephen Gaynor, hate crime investigations, do they get extra attention, extra resources?
I think they get the proper attention when the media is involved or the community becomes involved. Then they get even more attention because there's more of a desire to solve the case and make the media and society happy with the hate crime solving the case. But we do work diligently on all cases. Some hate crimes kind of touch your heart, so you might work them a little harder than others. This is kind of vicious to watch with him hitting those young ladies. So this would definitely inspire a detective to want to work it. And as Corey said, you got to connect the dots to make a good hate crime. You've got his statement. It'd be nice if he made other statements to other people and really lock it in to make this a solid hate crime offense.
All right, our experts are going to stay with us. We've got more Crime Time straight ahead, plus this. In Santa Ana, California, an alleged unsafe lane change turns into road rage, and a 6-year-old boy is shot and killed in the back of his mom's car. After a month-long search and a $500,000 reward, tonight, finally, an arrest. Plus, in Houston, Texas, the woman implicated in the death of little Samuel Olson makes her first court appearance. Teresa Balboa is the girlfriend of Sam's dad. A Change.org petition is calling for the dad's arrest. Should the father be arrested? Go to our Facebook pages and tell us what you think.
Who has so much time to do such a rotten act. It's just a call that there's much more work to be done, and part of it is putting flags up at the city of Louisville.
Another one of the stories we're covering tonight in our Crime Time segment. Still with us, Stephen Gaynor and Corey Pegues. This next one comes to us from KMGH in Denver. Pride flags stolen.
It's not how the mayor of Louisville was expecting to spend Monday afternoon. She joined the executive director of Out Boulder County, reinstalling these pride flags once again.
We're going to make sure we keep our pride installation out here, even if there are a few people that are trying to put a damper on things.
For the second time in less than a week, someone has tampered with the display. The first time, drivers snapped pictures of a man taking the flags. When he left, there was a Confederate flag in the ground. Then over the weekend, more flags disappeared.
Who has so much time to do such a rotten act? It's just a call that there's much more work to be done, and part of it is putting flags up at the city of Louisville.
And it's not the only incident. Out Boulder County says someone ripped a banner and stole a flag at the 29th Street Mall in Boulder this weekend, too.
Out Boulder County is now calling on residents and business owners to hang up their own flags as a way to show their support and show these hateful acts don't represent the community.
We have survived so much as the LGBTQ community. Destroying flags is the least of my worries. I just see it as an opportunity to elevate the voice of the LGBTQ community.
A voice that won't be silenced or intimidated.
We even had one group of kids that was in town from Kansas, and they just happened to be driving through, and they said they stopped and talked to some business owners and told them, we've never felt so welcome.
So once again, they replaced these flags, standing up against hate.
That flag doesn't have a heart on it, but the flag is about heart.
All right, here's the question. You know, it's not the crime of the century, but are crimes like these investigated? What's the approach? Stephen Gaynor, you know, a case like this, you know, falls on the lap of investigators. How much time do they have to investigate something like this?
Well, Vinny, I got to be honest. The flags are on a public right-of-way. They don't appear to be government property. They're on an island in the middle of the roadway. It might be tough to prove the crime of theft by taking, since who's the true owner when they're on a public right-of-way? So this particular case with the flags on the median might not be pursued heavily, but the one with the damage to the flag in the mall and the theft of a flag there, which is private business, that would probably be pursued a little more maybe than this one.
Corey Pegues.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with Stephen, but more importantly, my major concern is that there might be an issue over there with the LGBT community. Someone is, has hate in their heart for that segment of the community. So it's something where that local municipality needs to really, really keep their eye on. Maybe, if they got a local bar where the LGBT community, they visit, we might have to put a UC undercover there. Because something might be brewing here. You see the one person took the flags, left a Confederate flag. There might be some hate in the heart. And so that's what I will really be focused on.
Final story tonight. Police in Chicago are investigating the circumstances around a video that went viral on social media this week. The video allegedly shows 3 women twerking on top of a Chicago Police Department SUV. The squad car can be seen driving slowly in front of a crowd of onlookers while the women dance on the hood and roof. The video posted on Twitter has more than 1 million views. Take a look. Deputy Director Tom Ahern gave the statement to the local media. The Chicago Police Department is aware of a video that surfaced on social media showing several females riding on a marked squad car. He also stated the investigation into the incident is ongoing. So tonight we're asking our law enforcement experts, so who should be investigated? The twerkers or the police? I'll begin with you, Corey.
Well, listen, these young people have this saying that, they do it for the gram. And I say, hey, this one is like doing it for the damn. I'm about to go to jail. Like, the civilians can't have their cake and eat it too. You understand what I'm saying? They want the cops to act professional, then they want to get on top of a police officer's vehicle. This is a very dangerous situation. One quick stop, one of those females fall, cracks her head. We got a $5 million lawsuit against the police department. Everybody hate the police. They shouldn't have stopped their car so quick. So we can't have the cake and eat it too. The police officers, as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't really be investigating them unless they absolutely didn't come back to the command and tell us, listen, this is exactly what happened, because I think this is going to go viral. There's cameras all over the place. And then we could have just looked at and investigated. But I think those women, at a minimum, maybe disorderly conduct.
Stephen Gaynor?
Corey's right on the mark as far as the officers. You know, during the riots, we had a lot of folks that would jump on top of police cars to damage them. And a lot of people recorded that. And this is just a similar situation where somebody thought this would be a cool thing to do. Now, without seeing the beginning of this, I don't know if the officers stopped and engaged them in conversation and this happened, or it just happened as they were slowing down and the ladies jumped on top. So without investigating it fully, I really can't say if the officers did anything wrong. But,
all right.
I mean, look at the past.
Chicago police will get to the bottom of that one. I'll be here all night, folks. Stephen Gaynor, Corey Pegues, thank you both so much.
Thanks, Vinny.
All right. I was waiting all night for that. Much more coming up, top of the hour.